Students of class 10, I welcome you to today's biology class. Students, we are studying the chapter Control and Coordination, the second chapter of the biology syllabus. And in this chapter, we understood what is control and coordination. We understood that control and coordination is present both in plants and animals. We have studied how it is happening in animals, and we are now studying how control and coordination occurs in case of animal body or human body. We came to know that in animals, control and coordination is done by two systems, the human nervous system and the human endocrine system. And now we are in mid of studying the human nervous system. So in the last class, what we have studied, let us revise something, okay? In the last class, I told you about synapse, that synapse is a minute gap between two neurons or a neuron and a muscle cell through which the impulse is sent. And then we also learned about reflex arc and reflex action. Reflex action is that sudden involuntary action which is controlled by spinal cord, and the pathway of this reflex action is called as the reflex arc. We got to know about this. Now in today's class, what we are going to learn, let us see. After today's class, you will be able to explain that brain is the main coordinating center of our body. You will be able to identify at least the major areas of the human brain, and you will be able to tell their functions. You will be able to explain how the brain and the spinal cord are protected in the human body. Okay, so let us get started with the class. See, before starting the class, I want to ask you one question. Is the only function of spinal cord is to control the reflex action? Is it limited to that? Obviously no. Other than conducting the reflex action or taking charge of the reflex action, the spinal cord, which consists of nervous tissue, they supplies every information to our brain. Okay, one way it is controlling, one way the spinal cord is controlling the reflex action, other side it is giving all the information to the brain that what it has done. If we touch a hot object, if we remove our hand, we know that is not it. So it is justified that if we do some kind of involuntary action, if we do some kind of reflex action, we know that. Why? Because the spinal cord is connected to the brain. Okay, and why it is connected to the brain? Because brain is a main coordinating center of the body, which consists of many neural connections. Many sparks happens, okay, one neuron connected with thousands. Many exchange or transmission of impulses happens, and it makes up a very complex mechanism inside our brain. Human brain species, really complex organ to study. This brain and the spinal cord did together constitute what? The central nervous system. Okay, the brain and the spinal cord did together constitute the central nervous system. We have learned this thing earlier also. So in the image, please watch or please locate the spinal cord. Spinal cord is present at the dorsal side of the body. I told you one day which side is our dorsal side? Back. And this is our ventral side. So the spinal cord is spinal cord is a tube like structure, okay, which runs from the end of our brain to our tailbone, okay, at the back. So you can find out, see, the spinal cord is a long tube and it gives out so many fibers, is not it? These fibers are the peripheral nerves. Okay, so we got to know that the reflex action is not the only function of spinal cord. Spinal cord gives every bit of information to the brain, and brain is the main control center, main coordinating center in the human body. Now let us identify the major regions of the human brain. Now students, I request you to look into the image that is in front of you. Have you seen the image? You can see the three parts, the three major parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay, other than this, okay, this like these parts, they are divided into many parts, like many smaller regions or parts. These are the major reasons. The other parts we will not study now, we'll study in much higher classes. In class 10, we will limit ourselves to this parts, three major parts and their functions. Okay, now you have to see how is the forebrain. Forebrain is the largest region, is not it, among three, and it is covering the periphery of the brain, I can tell. And midbrain is a small area that is connecting the forebrain and the hindbrain, and hindbrain is located at the what, at the ventral region, at the lower ventral region of our body. Okay, so largest is the forebrain. So you might get a question on labeling of the among any parts among this. Okay, you might be given the function, you have to identify the part and label it in the diagram. Let us now take up the functions of these major regions one by one. Okay, first we'll take the functions of the forebrain. So it's not four, it's not F-O-U-R, it's F-O-R-E, forebrain. Many students I have seen, they make mistakes in the spelling. It's not F-O-U-R, it's F-O-R-E, even not F-O-R, forebrain, it's forebrain. Okay, so what are the functions? See, this is the main thinking part of the brain. It's a main part of the brain. It controls all the voluntary actions. Like voluntary actions, you already know, the actions which are under our will. Like I want to talk, I am doing that because of the what, forebrain. I want to move, I want to laugh, I want to walk, to play. Why? Because it's controlled by the what, forebrain. Now this forebrain, it has got what, some special areas also for what, hearing, for sight, for smells. There are different centers. Okay, in the forebrain, specialized for hearing, specialized for smelling, specialized for sight. Okay, some lobes are there. There is also a center called hunger center that controls our hunger and thirst. Okay, and the most important region is what, you know, the most important region is the association area. What is an association area? All the impulses that we get will be all what, will be connected, will be associated to take a decision. All the impulses, all the stimuli we obtain from the environment, we have to integrate them, we have to associate them, and then do certain voluntary actions, or even involuntary also maybe. Okay, so this association area is very important. It's the most important part, I can tell you, of the forebrain. And it has also another important part, that is the memory center. Okay, memory center of the brain, present in the forebrain. So we understood the functions of the forebrain. Next we will move to the functions of the what, midbrain. You know, midbrain is a very small area. You can see in the image, midbrain is a very small area, that green labeled part in the image. That midbrain functions connecting the forebrain and the hindbrain. Its main function is that. Okay, small area, so not much function. It controls what? It controls involuntary actions. Majority of the involuntary actions it is controlling. It controls involuntary actions such as alertness. Okay, alertness. We become alert by hearing something. We become alert by looking into some kind of image or some kind of a thinking. So that alertness is an involuntary action and is controlled by midbrain. Then sleep-wake cycle. Now what is sleep-wake cycle? Our body works in a cycle. Okay, you keep the morning alarm at 6 o'clock every day. Next day switch off the alarm. I am bound that you will be getting up at around 6 o'clock. Why? Because our body has got a what? Clock, biological clock. And the same thing happens with our sleep. Go to sleep every day 10 p.m. Next day you will be what? Feeling sleepy by that time. So our body has a what? Biological clock or a cycle, that is sleep-wake cycle. Who controls? Midbrain. Now if our midbrain is harmed or midbrain is like damaged, we will lose this function. Okay. Another important function is that it controls the temperature of the brain. Okay. Sorry, temperature of the body. Okay. So even any kind of harm or damage to this midbrain can hamper the function like controlling the body temperature, controlling the normal body temperature. Okay, now we will look into the functions of the hindbrain. Hindbrain is also an important organ or important region of the human brain. Now, what are the main function? It maintains the posture and balance of the body. What do you mean by posture? We have a posture. We human beings can stand erect. We have a posture. Many of us have got an incorrect posture, but still we have a posture to maintain, and we can also balance the body. Okay, see, this hindbrain is very important in the terms of evolution of human being. We can stand erect. We became human being from apes. Okay, we became human being because of development of this region, and because of the region we are able to maintain the posture of the body and balance of the body too. Okay, other than that, it's also controlling the body movements, and along with this posture and the balance of the body, it is controlling many involuntary actions such as saliva, blood pressure, vomiting, etc. Now students, don't confuse these involuntary actions with the reflex action. Reflex are always in response to stimuli. Many students, they come up to me and then ask, ma'am, then what's the difference between the function of spinal cord and the function of this hindbrain? I'll tell you, spinal cord works to a stimuli, but hindbrain also responds to some kind of what? Involuntary action, not because of any kind of stimuli. Another very important function is that it regulates the respiration process. See, sometimes what happens, we respire very fast, we respire slow. Who is controlling that? Some parts in the hindbrain. Okay, so hindbrain, we understand, is a very important part, okay, in the human brain. See, we need this organ to become skilled, like riders or bicycle or bike maybe. Okay, anyone having problem in this hindbrain, they have got problem in posture and balancing their body. So every part of the human brain is important, and we should be able to relate it to any kind of disorders or deficiency problems, even minute problems. Okay, that's why we are studying this topic. Okay, next we will move to the topic, how is the spinal cord protected? Okay, protection of the spinal cord. So what is a spinal cord? Again, I will repeat. Spinal cord is a what? Long. It's a tube-like structure present at the dorsal side, and it is made up of what? Nervous tissue. It's a tube-like structure, and it is what? It is a long, okay, and it runs towards the what? Through our dorsal side and made up of nervous tissue. Now this spinal cord, you see, spinal cord is well protected inside the what? The vertebral column or the backbone. We all know about a backbone. We all have a backbone. And see in that image also, we have got a backbone running from here, the cervical region, neck region, to our post lumbar region. Okay, so this vertebral column is very important in what? Protection of our spinal cord. Next, let us see how the brain is protected. You see, brain is present inside our what? Our bony box. Okay, a bony box. Bony box, you'll understand what's a bony box here. The skull or the cranium. Skull is a word already known to you all, but cranium, cranium, cranium is a new word for you all. Okay, cranium, skull or the cranium, same thing. Cranium is this part, skull consists of everything here, okay, but cranium is a part of the skull. So this bony cranium, this protects our brain very well. Okay, and inside this bony cranium, what is there? There are three membranes, okay, which we call as meninges, and in between these membranes there is what? Space, there is some kind of fluid, cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, and this fluid, they function as what? Shock absorber. We get some injury, the fluid will absorb the shock, and the brain will be protected inside the meninges as well as the cranium. Okay, you can see in that image, see a section is being produced here. There is a skull, and below the skull there is what? Meninges, the three meninges, and in between the meninges there is what? Fluid, and below the meninges there is the what? Brain. Okay, so how is our brain protected? Brain is protected by two things. One is the cranium, bony cranium, and other is the muscular meninges, which consists of 3 layers, and in between there is some kind of what? Fluid. Okay, so I hope you have understood today's topic. So let us revise something what we have learned. Let's find out what we have learned from today's class. Now answer me these questions. What is the main coordinating center of the body? I hope you'll be able to answer. It's a brain. What are the major regions of the brain? Forebrain, F-O-R-E, forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain, H-I-N-D, hindbrain. What are the functions of forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain? You will be able to answer. Forebrain control generally the voluntary functions. Midbrain is mainly associating the two, forebrain and hindbrain. And hindbrain is controlling involuntary actions like posture, like the body balance and all. How is the brain and spinal cord protected in our body? Brain is protected under the skull and the meninges, and spinal cord is protected inside the vertebral column. So I hope you have understood the class. For any doubt, please take my help. Thank you.